Hi, I am so glad that you've decided to join me to shake the particular table that we have to shake today. And with me today, joining me to do this very huge task, is someone who is actually my partner in shaking tables. When it comes to this kind of tables, you'll find out in a moment. Her name is Junifer Uzodike. She is the founder and the head of school for Fruitful Orchard Montessori School in Abuja. She's also, and I say this a lot, I know, I brag about it. She's the only African on the board of the Association Montessori International, which is the Montessori association that Dr. Maria Montessori actually set up herself. So it's with great honor and, my privilege to welcome you here to join us today. And I'm glad you decided to make it today because as a Montessorian, we want to talk about TV or no TV. I know.
I'm sure you know where I stand with that.
I do.
That's an interesting topic.
Yes, it is. So we'll just jump right in. We're talking today about to do TV or no TV in children. Of course, you know that when we talk, we're talking especially as regards children in their early years, in their formative years, which sets the tone for their lives and and everything in the future. And so I would like to ask you, what's your opinion on this?
I'm definitely on the no TV camp.
Wait. You see, when you people say these things, take it easy. When you say you're in no TV camp, are you saying, what do you mean? Like no TV, or what? Please explain. Is it even possible?
It is. In my ideal world, which I'm not living in right now, in my ideal world, we would not have a TV in our house. At least until my last child is maybe 7, 8. So for the first plane of development, I think that children do not need to have TVs.
Okay.
And they can survive without TVs. They'll be fine without TVs. And I think that it's really important now where as parents, well, even if you cannot go that far to not have TV.
Yes.
It's very important to be very conscious of the effects that TV have on your child. TVs have on your child. I think that when we were growing up, I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, TV didn't even start until 4.
Exactly. Remember that? You wait for the TV to start.
For me, let me tell you how my day went. We went to school, we came back and we took a nap, siesta.
Yes.
After siesta, you watch TV for like 1 hour, and it was usually an educational program.
True.
Usually like 1 hour, and then you have to go outside and play for some time, and then you come back and it's time for bed. So we didn't actually watch TV for longer than an hour, maybe an hour 30 minutes. Weekends maybe 2 hours. But now there's so many offerings. You can a child can literally watch TV all day.
Live in front of the TV.
So
I'd like to just take you up on that because for me, I understand your position, and of course in my own case, when I tell people that I don't have a TV in my house, they're like, what? Like how is that even possible? Because before we had our first child, we gave away our TV, and for us, I think at that time it was not even so much. I had not understood the science so much behind it. But first of all, I think we were like TV addicts, my husband and I, in a sense, really. And so it brought us closer first of all, and made us to do other things and spend more time together. And then, but I'd like us to talk exactly about what the research says about it, because over time, a lot of research has been done. I know that at the time before I had my son, the American Pediatric Association was then saying no TV for 0 to 2 years, and then afterwards, they begin to. I know that has changed a bit now, and then there's this new WHO recommendation. So I would like us to speak to it a bit. So when you have this kind of position, and when I'm saying that, I don't have a TV in my house, why? Is it just because?
No. So you mentioned, I think that a good place to start is what you mentioned. You said you and your husband were becoming TV addicts.
Yes.
And you're adults who are in control of your actions. You have a higher ability to control yourselves.
Yeah, definitely.
The children from birth until 6. Their brains are still being formed.
Exactly.
They're not yet, they haven't developed that impulse control. They are not able to make those logical, critical decisions.
Yeah.
And you're giving them an opportunity to become addicted to something. And I wanted to add something. We're talking about TVs, but I really think that when I say TV, I would consider screens in general. So it could be TVs, iPads, laptops, tablets, all of those things, phones. Yeah. Because phones are even more worse because in the car you can just give your child a phone. So all of them have
we're talking
effect,
screen time, actually.
Exactly, of changing the way that your child's brain
is being wired.
Yes. So there's that. They can become addicted. And can you imagine being addicted to something from this point where they're like a 2-year-old? Because I'm sure some of the people who are watching can identify that their children are sort of addicted.
Definitely.
Like, can you imagine when you try to collect the phone from your child and they fall on the floor and
a big tantrum? In fact, I've had parents say that my child won't eat except in front of the TV, and my child won't do stuff like that except he's in front of the TV. And another thing to note is that even the cartoon, and then I had parents also tell me, oh no, it's children's program. So when you're talking screen, they think you're talking about the effect of what they are watching. But no, it's beyond that. It's first of all that they are watching, because even the things that are supposed to be designed for kids, like the cartoons and all that, they have, because they want it to be engaging, it's so vivid, the colors and everything, and then you have these quick cuts that have been found by research to actually reduce the child's attention span and their executive function, which at that time is forming.
Yeah. So basically, according to both the American Association of American Pediatric Association and the WHO, there's no known benefit for children younger than 2, around 18 months and lower. There's no known benefit at the moment for them watching TV.
Wow.
There's no known benefit. So if you think they're watching educational programs, actually another lady, her name escapes me now, has done research that shows that TV actually has a detrimental effect on language.
Speech.
Because the children, most times the speech doesn't line up with the way the mouth is moving when they're watching TV. Yeah. So when you see, like when I'm talking to you, I can, because children are learning by watching us, so they can make the connection of between
what we're saying, how your lips are moving,
your facial expressions. Yes. When they watch TV, usually they cannot line it up, and also for effect, a lot of times the facial impressions are exaggerated, so the children are picking up those things. So there's that. Then there's also the fact that when you're watching TV, a lot of times it's a very passive activity. So you're just sitting down. Yeah, there's sometimes that they're like, but if you watch a child who's watching TV, oftentimes they're like, their eyes are glazed over,
zoned out,
and they're like zombies.
It's really,
anyway, it's like you know. So that again is not good for for the child.
And not just, sorry to butt in at this time, not just for now, because again, in that period they are forming habits. And so in the world today, we are actually grappling with a lot of preventable illnesses, which is coming from just this sedentary lifestyle. This increasingly sedentary lifestyle, just being able to sit in one place and sit in front of a computer and then to start children from so early, for whom movement is actually part of their growth and development, really takes a lot from them.
I've seen that. I mean, like, even these days, when we go out, I notice more children are overweight than they were when we were growing up. Like, there's a significant increase. Definitely. Most children in traditional schools are sitting all day. They're not spending enough time outside. So when they go home, it's supposed to be an opportunity for them to move. But they go home and they sit down and they're on an iPad or they're watching TV. So they're not moving. I think that also... I was going to say that people always say, oh, that's the only way I can keep them calm. They'll be so calm. But what happens as soon as they finish? It's like...
They're wired.
They're wired, exactly.
They're wired.
Because they are watching this thing that is transitioning so fast, changing so fast. Your brain is like being wired to expect things to move so fast. Way. But then when the TV goes off...
And it's real life.
Everything is slow, and it's like... you see the children just cannot control themselves.
Yeah.
I've tried it before, so I'll give you how. I mean, I've tested. I know we talk about research done by other people, but
then
I
our
like
own
to do
personal
personal research.
yes.
I also like to talk to people who have raised their children TV free and see, because I get a lot of questions about this, like, oh, how are they going to be prepared for technology? How are they going to do this and that?
True.
But I found with my children, so for let me say the first 3 years of my first son's life, he didn't watch any TV.
Yeah.
And then one summer holiday we went to spend time with family, and in our family's house they watch TV, which I cannot control.
Of course.
I'm respectful of people's choices that they make because it's their house.
Sure.
But I thought, okay, this is actually an opportunity to research and see
How
it
it's
affects
actually,
him. And we noticed the difference immediately. First of all, he stopped walking at normal speed. Like, he had to zoom everywhere. He had to run. He had to fly.
Life had to be a movie.
He was moving. That was the first one. Then the second thing I noticed was the volume. Like, he was always talking like he was shouting.
Yes.
Like, I had to remind him that, I'm sitting right here.
Yeah.
His voice was significantly louder than
it
usually
was.
is. And I believe strongly, because once we stopped watching the TV, he came back
to
down.
normal.
But after some time, it didn't happen immediately. And then another thing that I noticed was that he couldn't just be still. Like, he didn't have, I don't know, with my children, one of the things that I've noticed from an early age, maybe because of our lifestyle, is they have this peace. I don't know how to explain. Like, they can just be still.
By themselves and
they
be
can
okay.
just be okay with, they don't need entertainment. Like, they can be in the car for 6 hours with no nothing, and they're like just looking out the window and they're happy and they're calm. But in that period, that
it wasn't
went
okay
out the
anymore,
window.
yes.
It was like everything. Like, they couldn't sit. Like, this would become a car, or this, like, even in the airport, I remember because when we were traveling back, I was just watching him. His bottle was something that was flat. They couldn't just be still. And I feel like that's a disservice that we do to children when we from an early age take away that ability to just be calm, to be peaceful, to be content without too much. Like, to take, because it's when you're still that you notice things, right? It's when, and I think also their own innate innovation and their own imagination.
Oh, yes. In fact,
we take that away from them, because we tell them it's very prescriptive.
This is exactly, it interferes with their normal brain growth and development. So you hear children start saying, "Oh, I'm bored. I'm bored. If I'm not on this, I'm bored." So that ability. You remember when we used to? In fact, which day was it? I asked on Instagram also that who knows what pangolo is, because growing up, tin cans, we'll carry them, put sand inside, like everything we could make from carton. It was just a lot of imagination, actually. And
for some people might think that was then, but that doesn't have to change. I think that all of the innovators, because people often ask, can't we prepare them for
this technology?
But if you check, most of the technology leaders, starting from Bill Gates to
Steve Jobs,
they actually don't let their children use technology.
Yes, especially that early,
Yes, they
because
don't. Because they know the effect, and they also know all of these people did not necessarily have it or need it early.
Yes. In fact, I wanted to say that because, for me, one of our goals is to begin to raise children in Africa who are not just consumers, but they are innovators.
Exactly.
And for you to be able to have that mind, the mind that is looking to provide solutions and all that, in a sense, you have to be out of the matrix.
Right.
You get what I mean? Like, because when you're caught in the matrix, like everything, you're just like, we don't know when we're zombies. So when you protect your kids and you actually, and you can retain that, because I believe every child actually comes to the world with that, the ability to create.
Right.
Because we are like God, the ability to create, the ability to imagine and actually create a solution. I'm so passionate about that. So this also takes away from that. But I would like to now just ask, I mean, yes, everything we have said is all well and good, but then practically, how does a child, how do parents, I mean, you know the way the world is today, and like I think I heard you say, I mean, this is not to judge. We're not here to try to judge, but we're trying, well, we want to look at things that we have always done and actually take a closer look and say, oh, can we do this better? Especially because it concerns our children and the kind of lives that they will end up leading, and the outcome. So what can parents do? So here, like practical tips. So a whole day. Some parents are scared. Like when I tell them no TV, they're like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Like, so what are the things that, and I also want to say at this point that it's outdoor play is so essential. Zero to 5.
Yeah.
Oh wow, outdoor play, and even up to 10.
Yeah. Honestly, you don't have to do much anything, frankly.
Yeah.
With I'll give my own personal experience. With my children at home, I don't do anything special. They run around the house, they go outside, they play with grass, they play with sticks, they tinker, so what I've done is to prepare an environment where they have tools that they can use to explore. So you can set up some activities for them, but don't even feel like you have to set up
the bank.
too much.
Because
you don't actually, because think about the children in the village. They keep themselves busy all day. Honestly, my children do the exact same thing. They wake up in the morning, they have their breakfast, take their bath. I'm talking about during the holidays, because no school, that's the extreme. So if you can survive without TV during the holidays, then you can probably survive
during school time.
So basically, they wake up, they do that. We have crayons, pencils, Sharpies, things for them to create, so they can draw, they can read, they can look through books, they can play outside, ride their bicycles. We have like a little workshop where they can make things with tools. We have sewing materials.
But isn't that dangerous? Sorry to come in here.
This is another table shaking.
Okay, no. Let's leave that. We'll do that another day.
This is another,
Okay. So, yes, okay.
Children need actually risk. Children need to experience risk.
Don't worry,
at
let's
a young
just
age.
skim over that.
They do. So it's not dangerous actually if you provide the right size and the right environment. So I think giving them activities that are not where they can be active instead of passive. And you know what? Giving children free time where you're not entertaining them, the environment is not entertaining them, that they have to figure, they can sit down and just
how to engage themselves.
What should I do now?
Exactly. So important.
You can create, so just to kind of sum it up, you can create some activities for them. You can make your home friendly where they can help out. They can help out in the kitchen. Recently, my 5 and 4-year-old, their new thing is I know that some people might not be okay with this, but I did it as a child, and research shows that this is good for the child. So when they're hungry, some things, I actually let them go across the street to the malam across the street
to buy
and come, and they prepare it by themselves. So giving them those opportunities to contribute, maybe they're not going to buy it, but maybe they can prepare their snacks by themselves. Maybe you can have bread and some butter for them to
they can wash their plates.
So those
they can
things,
pick up after themselves, pick up their toys and all that. Basically be engaged instead of allowing somebody do that for them all day. And just again, because I wanted to just say, people will say, it's because you are a Montessorian, because you have all those resources available to you. But remember, I mean, if you grew up in Nigeria like we did, remember when we were growing up, like everything was leaves, sand,
and that's where creativity is born.
That's where it's born.
That's where they start to
old tires or covers of something. But I'm just saying, you can literally look around and just use anything. You don't have to go and start buying toys, buying blocks, and then like she said, when you have to buy toys and all those things, make sure that they are not things that you press a button and the thing is responding. So that's passive. But things that they have to build, they have to uncouple and stuff like that, because
I think just changing your mindset from the idea. I think these days there's this pervasive idea that children need to be entertained. They do not need to be
Yes, they do
entertained,
not.
because that's basically the source or the genesis of all of this.
Everything.
Like
Yeah.
the need, like, oh, children need to be entertained, and most times we're just trying to get them out of our hair.
I think that's the bigger.
Yes, we're just like, please leave me alone. Let me scroll
That's
through
the bigger-
Instagram.
yes.
No,
That is
not
actually the
Instagram,
bigger
but,
issue, yeah.
I think like just realizing that first of all, they will only be
That
6 years
age,
is actually
yeah.
literally a short time
In
the
the
grand scheme of
things,
things.
yeah.
So knowing that this is just a short period of their lives and making yourself somewhat available, but also letting them create
be,
their
yeah.
experiences.
Yes. To be
The
themselves.
real life is actually quite entertaining. Like allowing them watch things. Like, so when someone is like a carpenter is doing something in your house, let them watch.
Exactly.
Don't, when someone is, whatever, look
Yes.
for those opportunities.
Yes.
Encourage them to just observe and take joy in little things. Like when an ant is passing, where do you think the ant might be going to? Like, there are
Those
little
things.
things like that they
Yeah.
can actually enjoy. So I think it's very possible if you have the right expectations,
Yes.
knowing that they will come and talk to you more than maybe if they're watching TV. But that's
Exactly.
because they're not zoned out.
Yes.
And that's also an opportunity for them to take and learn something.
And to bond.
To bond, exactly.
To bond. When parents are talking about, oh, how do I become friends with my children? Or then your child is now a teenager or is older and doesn't want to have anything to do with you. You actually start in those early years.
Yeah. There's one last thing that I don't think we've talked about. Is the content creators who are creating these programs your children are watching. You don't know what their values are. You don't know what their ultimate goals are. Oftentimes they could be in conflict with
what you actually say you believe.
And unless these days, in our time, I think it was safer to assume that cartoons were safe. But they're not anymore. There are a lot of like hidden messages in there. There's a lot of violence and all of that. So just keep that in mind. But I do think, and I wanted to share one last thing. I know several people whose children grew up screen free, no TV. Maybe like a family movie night on a Friday. Let's be realistic. When I say no TV, you could have like a thing where you sit together one day a week and you watch together.
And I actually wanted to ask you, I forgot this as well, like, so at what age, when we're talking about technology, is now okay, according to maybe like the Montessori system, to introduce screen or computers and stuff like that?
Well, we know that the first 5 to 6 years, most of the brain development happens then. So this is my personal recommendation, is in that time I would limit it as much as possible. As they grow older, I would still limit it. I would limit it, maybe not completely, but I would only as necessary. Only because maybe exposing them to other things. But I would be very conscious and particular about it. Because I would be very particular
and I
about
think
it.
being particular again with what they're doing with it, at that time. Now we're talking about after 6, because there are things for me. I always think like formative, creating, helping them to use their innovation. So now there is coding,
learning something.
there are things that they can do to
they can be active
exactly. By instead of it just being sitting down and consuming what it is that
there's one of those people that I particularly want to share, because that's a question I get a lot. So her children did not watch TV for most of their lives, their childhood, I guess, up to adulthood. And they did only family nights once a week. But right now he's a coder, and he didn't, when I say TV, he didn't use media, like he didn't use computers, he didn't use any of those things. He works now as a coder for banks, like making specialized software for banks in Canada, the US, Australia. Like he's highly sought after.
Because he's a creator, he's an innovator.
I think that what it is when when the child's first introduction to technology is as something that is entertainment,
then
it's hard for them to get over the fact that is entertainment.
Wow.
But when you introduce it to the child when they're older and you introduce it as a tool, it will be a learning tool, as a learning tool.
Fantastic.
Something that you use to solve problems.
Yes.
That's how we should introduce technology and all of these to children. A tool that you use to learn things.
Yes.
You know, not something that entertainment is good, don't get me wrong, but let it not be your child's
primary.
First years of
Yes.
primary.
Yeah, because that sticks. Wow. Yeah. Thank you so much, Junior. I mean, it's always so nice to talk about these things with you, whether on screen or off screen. All right. So thank you so much. I hope you have enjoyed being with us today. I hope you have learned something. I also hope you've drawn your own conclusions and you've decided what it is that you're going to do. Remember, we're not here to judge anyone. We understand that it can really be tough in these times raising young children, but we also know that it's an important assignment.
And it's not forever.
Yes, it's just,
it will pass. It will pass.
Yeah.
It always seems, in the moment when you're going through it, it just seems like forever.
Yes.
But remember that your child will only be a child for such a short period of time.
All right. So thank you for joining us. And until next time, when you join us again to shake another interesting table, I am Dr. Megor.